Hi folks, welcome back to the channel, Andy Brown 21. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, please do so by clicking the subscribe link below. We've got something interesting happening this time. It's for some work on the Volvo 480. If you remember, we need to do some welding on those rear sills that are starting to disappear due to rust. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the welder. We're going to have a go at welding. Remember, this is a complete amateur's welding. It's probably not going to be right, it's probably not going to be neat, but I'm going to give it a go and I'm going to show you my first go at it and see what you think, and also just to give you a bit of confidence as well that if I can do it, you can do it. So let's take a look at the welder. So here we go, we've got everything we need for welding. We've got a Clarke Weld 120E. It's a slightly older welder, but it is reasonable. It's a metal spool with argon gas welder. You can see I've got the side off here. You can see the metal spool fed into the machinery here. We've got a gas bottle attached on the back. You can see you've got the tip here with the trigger, and we've also got the crocodile clip for our other connection to our ground. We also have the essential, we have our welding mask, and we've got a piece of scrap metal to give it a little try. The idea is I'm just going to try doing a bit of a line across there just to test getting a spark, working out what the welder's like, the feed speed, the various settings, things like that. Now I think this is essential because, as I mentioned before, I'm a complete amateur to this. So there's loads of other tutorials by people that know what they're doing with this, but basically I'm going to give it a go, see how we get on. I'm not quite sure how much of this you'll see or not see, so we'll just see how we get along, and you can have a go with me, you can follow along, and we'll see how it comes out. First things first, let's get the welder connected up. So I've already attached the main cylinder to the gas supply, and you can see it's on 0 at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll turn it up to 3 initially, just as a reasonable start setting. Now we also just want to check, yep, that's free running. There's nothing going to get in its way whilst it's running, that it's fed into the spool, and we can see that that's all set up. So quite happy with that at the moment. What we'll do, we'll get our crocodile clip, we'll clip that onto the piece of metal that we're going to try, and I'm just going to have a bit of a zap. This is a spare piece. Now the essential part is the welding mask. Now this is an auto tinting welding mask, and you set it up by testing it against a bright light source. Make sure it works. Every single time you go welding, you want to make sure this is working. Now I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to show you how this works inside. You can see it's a really clear mask that we've got here. I'm really quite impressed with this one, and hopefully as soon as I point it at the light, there we go, you can see it darkens out and then it comes back to light, which is exactly what we want. So for a first attempt, I would say that is pretty shocking. So you can see there's quite a lot of variables. We've got the wire feed speed, which I'm not getting quite right. That's why you can see lots of wire that's come out and not being burned properly. So that needs sorted. I'm not quite sure if I've got the position of the tip right as well. You can see actually there's a bit too much wire sticking out there. But in terms of getting the right position on the stick, also the darkening helmet seems to be going too dark as well, so it's very difficult to see what's happening when I'm actually welding. So I think what I need to do is do a few adjustments to all of it, just keep experimenting, trying different settings until I can start to get a bit more consistent. So you can see what I'm trying to do is do a few little tack pieces, because initially I'm going to need to tack weld and then do the rest. So that's what I'm trying, and this is where that was the latest piece I did, and that's about the best I've done so far. So the conclusion is yeah, not good. The first attempt at welding hasn't gone very well at all. I'm having trouble keeping the flow rate right and trying to keep the weld going, because my first thinking is I'm going to need to do some tack welds first to bond the new piece of metal onto the car's chassis. And trying to do tack welds with the metal wire constantly spooling seems tricky. It's getting the combination. Now I can solder, and the comparison is to soldering, but it's trying to do that whilst the wire is on a constant speed spool. So I think I've got a lot of learning and a lot of practicing to do. So it's a very quick video, this one, just saying that was the first attempt at welding. Hasn't gone quite according to plan, but I'm going to keep persisting, and I'm going to keep you guys updated on how I get on. You can hear it's really windy outside as well, which hasn't helped because I haven't got an indoor area to practice on. So that might be the other thing to do, to practice in an indoor space with my welding. So let's see how we get on. Do pop some comments down below. Don't worry, I'm not expecting let's say some complimentary comments on this video so far, because my welding is absolutely shocking. But if you've got any tips, tricks, anything like that, please do pop them down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, and you can see more disastrous welding coming up in a future video. You can say I also tried to write my initials on there, which sort of worked. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.